Business Now, and I'm joined on set by Anka Ula. Hi, Anka.
Hi, Nadia.
So we're starting today's business news with the United States, where there is major steps being taken towards Republican tax reform.
That's right. There's been a lot of pressure on Republican lawmakers. They do control both houses of Congress. There's been pressure on them to pass a landmark tax bill. This is one of President Donald Trump's campaign promises. On Thursday, the Senate made a significant step towards that goal. The budget blueprint they agreed would protect a $1.5 trillion tax cut from a Democratic filibuster and could also pave the way for opening up the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge in Alaska to oil exploration. Democrats were obviously not happy about that. Let's hear from Democratic Senator Bernie Sanders.
The majority leader.
Mr. President, this is not a bad budget bill. It is a horrific budget bill, an extremely cruel bill, and the most unfair budget ever presented in the modern history of our country. At a time of massive income and wealth inequality, this budget provides $1.9 trillion in tax breaks for the top 1%. At a time when millions of working families are struggling to keep their heads above water, this budget cuts Medicaid by $1 trillion.
Well, Anka, let's stay in the United States for now, where the state of California is now starting to get a slightly clearer picture about the financial cost of those deadly wildfires earlier on this month.
Sorry, we heard from the state insurance commissioner, who estimates that the damage solely on insured property will cost at least $1 billion. That's based on data from 8 of the state's largest insurers. They say that nearly 7,000 structures have been damaged in the fire. Both of those numbers are expected to rise. Many areas are still closed, and about 22,000 people were still displaced on Thursday morning in Sonoma County because their homes remained at risk or in a burn zone.
Okay, Anka. Well, let's move here to France now, where lawmakers have approved this so-called soda tax to try and tackle obesity and diabetes.
That's right. So the concept is higher taxes for higher sugar content. It's a strategy that's been tested in countries and cities around the world with varied levels of success. Now, France, a country with rising obesity rates where almost 40% of people are overweight, is giving it a shot. Mario Sofos explains.
The more sugar, the more expensive. This is the principle behind France's new tax on sugary drinks. Up until now, the tax on a single can of soda was about 2.5 cents, regardless of the sugar content. The change means that the wholesale price of a can of Coca-Cola has now increased from 46 to 53 cents. Now, as the amount of sugar increases, so will the rate of tax. The aim of the new tax is to push producers to lower the amount of sugar in their drinks.
In the countries where they've introduced this tax, the industry has rapidly changed the drinks, reduced the level of sugar. If you take a can of cola with the equivalent of 7 sugar cubes in it and put 6 instead, you won't notice the difference, but your body will.
And of course, the hike in prices is also an attempt to encourage a healthier diet amongst consumers. Some nutritional experts, however, don't believe that the policy goes far enough.
Why doesn't it work? Because when you buy a drink, it doesn't say on the label, taxation to tackle obesity. If we really want to tackle obesity, there has to be a doubling or tripling of the prices of these products.
France's policy follows in the footsteps of other countries, including Mexico and certain cities in the United States. The tax is a cause for much debate amongst producers and consumers, yet where it has been implemented, the health benefits have been seen.
Anka, it's the last day of the trading week. How are the markets looking this morning?
Well, European markets opened higher, with technology and banks performing well. All 3 major indexes were up about 0.5% at the open just a short while ago. Volvo shares were also up more than 6% after the Swedish carmaker reported a bigger-than-expected rise in quarterly core earnings. Over in Asia, markets rose as well in afternoon trading after shaking off negative trends seen earlier in the day. We saw green across the board, with Tokyo's Nikkei rising for the 14th straight day. That's the best winning streak it's seen since 1961.
And finally, Anka, the deadline for US cities to submit their bids to host Amazon's new headquarters closed on Thursday. Tell us, who's in the running?
So more than 100 cities are fighting over the right and the privilege, I guess, to host Amazon in their city. And it's not really a surprise why. Amazon plans to invest $5 billion and create 50,000 new jobs at its new headquarters. To sweeten the deal, some cities are offering massive financial incentives. New Jersey's governor offered $7 billion in potential tax credits against state and city taxes if Amazon locates in Newark. Others took to flashier promotional methods. like New York City, which lit up some of its most famous buildings in Amazon orange. It kind of feels like a reality dating show, so I guess we'll see who ends up getting the rose.
Indeed. All right, Anka Ula with the business. Thank you very much indeed.